Okay, what I would suggest we do, since the branch is going to be the branch and pulls are going to be the bigger deal, I would put the Hong Kong hack days just at the start, just so we can do that. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. So there had been we discussed this originally more like a design summit, but I don't think we're going to have critical mass to do that. So the thought right now is that we would treat this as it's effectively a 3-day hackathon focused on Crowbar 2 development. So day 1, the first day would be a docs and training hack. Try and patch holes and get things up to speed. That way everybody can, the people who are in attendance can come up to speed. There is a thought that we'll have a hangout going, and we'll maintain a hangout so people can join by remote if they want. The schedule is daytime, and as long as we can go. Hong Kong. And then the next 2 days, and 2+ days. And there's an optimistic target. Everybody tells me I'm crazy and way too optimistic, but my hope is that we can start doing a Havana bar plant migration to Crowbar 2 at this point. We'll see where we go. We've got 5 weeks, 5 full weeks before this event. So, and the dates. What are the dates? It's 10:31. Is it? 11:03, or is it 11:1?
That sounds.
That's 4 days.
That sounds right.
And
well,
for the last day, we were talking about doing a community, a more demos and training event.
Yeah, specifically we were hoping that by that time we have a Roxy operational and have the Havana code running on that, we will be able to demonstrate running Havana in a purely virtual environment, just initial demo.
Okay. So this is the last day, which is actually 11/4, I believe, right?
That is correct. It's a day before. I think it's Monday before the conference.
And it's not exactly experts only, but it's developer focused.
Okay, Rob. So just as overview, we arrive in Hong Kong at 7 p.m. on the 30th. So the 31st will be the first full day there.
Okay. That makes sense.
The conference is now in presentation mode. The conference is now in conversation mode.
Sorry, I'm clicking the wrong buttons. I'm going to start recording.
Call recording is on.
So, right, and the idea here is that we don't want to have people show up, what is Crowbar? It's for people to act, we actually expect to hack. So we're not planning any intro content beyond the stuff that developers who are used to Crowbar and the concepts need to come up to speed. And then I know from the Dell side on the attendance, we have Victor, John, Arkady, you're there too?
I'll be there, and David Patterson will be there.
Okay. Questions, suggestions, comments? I know we're presenting this as a little bit more baked. We've been trying to engage in some dialogue, but it hasn't been the first priority.
Especially if anybody will be able to join, it'll be interesting to see what ideas they have on the table on what to do. Maybe beyond what we were contemplating.
So, Rob, we were looking to run a follow the sun process so that people could join in from around the globe and continue the activity on. Is that still in plan?
I talked about that. I'm really wary of trying to organize the logistics of that from the event because there's so many unknowns. I'd love to see development sort of continue, and I'm expecting to screencast videos. So we'll do the hangout will be streamed, and then we'll snapshot training videos and other content, so that people could be writing and keeping up as we go. But unless somebody wants to step forward to own other time zones, I think it's going to be that's too much of a challenge for us to orchestrate.
Vincent, would that be helpful to you and your team?
I think with the time zone difference, it's really difficult. So,
John, do you want to explain what you were thinking for what would work for Follow the Sun?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that question?
What were you thinking for the Follow the Sun? You and I had talked about this. I have some ideas. I was interested in what you were thinking from that perspective. What would that mean for the SUSE team?
Well, I was thinking that we might have a short kickoff event, make video streams available of key sections of the at least the first day, and make it possible for people who are not in Hong Kong to participate and perhaps even to pick up on work that was in progress while we were there.
So we'd need some way to Etherpad or something that would show what we've done, what we're trying to do at Trello, or something, basically plan out the work. Vincent, I think it's not a matter of real-time collaboration, but having somebody who could, another team that would focus on what needed to be done, sort of organize communications around that, look at actions, and basically focus at the same time. This is the original thought that I had was that SUSE team in Europe could actually be looking at what we've done, picking things up, carrying the ball forward, and then when we come back online, we'd be able to pick things up. Or actually, North America could then take over a little bit and then move forward. It's just the logistics of it in situ at Hong Kong are too much. It needs leaders in each time zone area to help run that for the transitions into their time zones.
okay. Well, we can always try, I guess. I would suggest that you send the proposal that you have on the mailing list so that everybody, so the team can see it. Because I think right now on the call might be the only one. Not sure if anybody has joined.
I lost my trail. Okay. What I'll do is, as we continue on the discussion, I'll populate some stuff on the Etherpad so people can see me put together notes, and then we'll circulate that to the list as a proposal.
Okay. I think we've got some other issues we really need to start focusing on here.
Yep.
Not wishing to be rude at all.
No, we're done. I was in part just buying time while we build quorum. But I would rather hand the con to somebody else to run the branch discussion and or the pull request backlog.
Okay, you're going to run with that, Akari?
I'll give it a try. First, I'll start with huge apologies for everybody. But our progress on merging the pull request was severely slowed down over the last couple of days due to internal networking problems. And thus, only a few things got merged. Then, in addition to that...
just to explain that, I'm going to jump in and throw the white handkerchief on this one. We have effectively had, through some security improvements, have effectively been isolated from GitHub and being able to do any Git work.
Yeah, I mean, so on Intel, it's pretty...
So thus, if we would like to, we seem to be finally, as of today, at least half of the team able to start getting back into the swing of things and be able to do the pull request smoking and do the builds. And thus, basically, we would like to extend the deadline a little bit longer to give us opportunity to merge the outstanding pull request. We can, of course, revisit the alternative. Is that basically we can always cut. Well, actually, yeah, I think we'll be able to cut the. Actually, no. Until we fixed internal problem, I think we'll have hard time cutting the Roxy branch, because one of our machines is still not fully operational. That's key one to be able to cut the new branch. We can send an email as soon as we have an ability in place to cut the new branch, which hopefully will be toward the end of the day or beginning tomorrow. And meanwhile, we can, work on the current pull requests. And I think we still need to discuss what are the alternatives. I mean, we can extend the bug squashing the pull request against Pebbles for another few days. Or we can basically cut the Roxy as soon as possible, and then everybody will have to resubmit their pull request against that if they want it in the Roxy.
Arkady, I understand that you're trying to not have to get into that process. At some point, you do need to cut this branch.
Well, there are two separate issues right now. One issue is that amount of additional work on the people if they would like to have the same their pull request, both in Pebbles and in Roxy. It's easier to do it in one place, and then when we cut, it automatically pulls all of them over. Or do the periodic pull if really people want to go there. It's basically the overhead of doing the review, not as much reviews, but testing to ensure the things are not destabilizing is where the cost is. So that's one problem, and that's the one we discussed last time. The second problem is that I don't believe that right now, given our internal networking issues, we will be able to cut. We are in a position right now to cut the branch. I think we'll need to fix. We are in the process of fixing those issues, and my expectation by the end of the day we'll be able to fix that. But until that is done, I don't believe we'll be able to cut the branch.
So. I guess I understand that there are some technical issues, but I guess it's still possible to review the code change themselves. Not doing the smoke testing, but doing the code review itself.
Yes. I believe the code review actually have been done on everything, but I can double check on it today. Actually,
it has not been done on everything. I mean, I was looking at all the pull requests yesterday, and at least for the Tuesday request, I was not always giving +1, but for some pull requests it was clearly some pull requests had no comments. So
Okay,
That is correct.
That we can do. There's nothing blocking us to do on doing that. I think we should be able to finish that today.
that would be nice, because I mean this is a really requirement anyway. So
I fully understand it. I accept it and appreciate the advice.
cool. Thanks.
So. Yeah, I think we kind of started doing on them, and people who grabbed the specific bunch of pull requests commented on them, start working on them, but I think we did the full list of them, so we'll do it today. Okay. Any,
So wait, back up. I want to make sure I understand. We're saying to hold off on doing the pulls, the branch until Friday? Is that what we're saying? On Monday?
So I think that in the order of things are the following. The first one, today we're going to review and comment with a +1 or basically a further discussion on all of the outstanding pull requests.
Okay.
That will have to be done today. Second, what I heard, but I have not heard the confirmation, that we're going to extend the merge deadline from today till Friday. And I want a confirmation for everybody on the call. And third, I heard that Dell will send an email on Reflector when we are in a position to cut the Roxy. And then we can basically on Friday, I don't know if you want to schedule a quick call on Friday morning, or have the email exchange on the Reflector or something else to decide what to do.
At some point, I think we need to cut so that other people are unblocked.
I agree.
I agree with that. I want to point out there are side effects to that. The two side effects. One side effect: once we switch the code base underneath from the Grizzly to Roxy to Havana, ability to move the current pull request from outstanding pull request from or go through the process from the Pebbles to Roxy becomes much more difficult because the underlying code base is different. And it's not clear if it will work. In other words, you have to do a lot of, in my view, substantial additional work to submit the current outstanding Pebbles pull request against Roxy once we switch to the Havana code bits.
Yes, that sounds great.
So my perspective on that hasn't really changed. I think it's still doable. So, I mean, for me, branching now would work fine. That's the opinion I had last week. So, no news, I guess.
I understand that. Is it all right if we postpone it until Friday so we can, the stuff which is in the process of being smoked and merged can be completed?
I mean, it's all right. We will start. If we start working on Havana stuff, we will just start working on that in our branches instead. I mean, we can do that.
Right.
So it's correct. It's no big deal. But to be clear, I still don't believe you will be able to merge most of the pull requests until Friday. I think it's due to the amount of pull requests. I think you will need at least 1 week and a half.
I'd be inclined to say even longer.
Or longer. I was trying to be optimistic.
Yeah.
So
I think really all that we can hope to process before Friday, as I see it, is the SSL pull requests and the Red Hat compatible pull requests.
Well, the Red Hat ones, I've commented on them. There are some of them which I think are not ready. So
Okay. Oh,
I haven't had a look at those myself, so I can't comment.
Yeah.
Arkady, look, I know, I think the assessment is it's going to take time to get these pulls, the backlog of pulls down. We can keep pushing this ball down the field a little bit, but we can't do it much longer.
Okay, let's put a deadline then. Friday, close of business day, we are cutting the Roxy. And whatever is in there before that is good. If not, whatever is not, we're submitted.
The alternative I'm saying is that we can just have a branch for Havana, which we don't even have to call Roxy for now, where people can start working on that. It's important because it's a central place, so all the people working on Havana support would work in that place, and we can merge that in Roxy when we branch Roxy. That also works for me. I mean, I don't really care about the name of the branch in the end. The only thing which I think is important is to enable people to work together on Havana support.
Well said.
And this can be merged later on in Roxy if we decide to branch for Roxy afterwards.
But either way, we're going to have to do the double merge issues. Wait.
Correct.
Personally,
Right.
I think we're better off cutting now and just taking the extra little bit of work on the chin.
Uncle, I have concerns that we don't have enough velocity or enough time to do it.
But that reinforces the why we're going to have the same conversation on Friday.
No, on Friday, basically, doesn't matter what we're going to cut.
But there's going to be stuff that you want in that's not in on Friday too.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then basically, we know what will happen. Everybody will jump, doing stuff on the Roxy, and the stuff in the Pebbles would be sitting in the backlog.
I know.
And I'm trying to have the Pebbles to be operational.
So your objective in enforcing the delay is to keep attention on the Pebbles pull requests so that we get code reviews and can start working down on the backlog on them. As it's effectively you're saying, hey, we need to finish Pebbles, get this stuff cleaned up a little bit more, and it's a community event. We should all be focused on doing that. So there's a lot of reviews that everybody in the community can contribute to. I know I was going back through and trying to plus one comment on stuff.
That would be my recommendation. For one simple reason is basically I believe that the pull requests if you're submitted against Pebbles have value, all of them. And this, if you don't merge them in, that work is wasted because it's not on the community branch. It's not merged into the community branch.
It's not wasted because we would submit it to Roxy too. But I agree that it should be merged in Pebbles.
Yeah.
And
correct.
For me, the only way to accelerate that is to change the rules and not do smoke testing before merging. And I can understand that you don't want to do that. So in that case, there's no way to.
To me, it basically becomes an unstable branch in terms of we cannot direct the customer, some of the potential customers or the people in the community who would try to use it.
So and that includes advanced features like Hyper-V. Potentially having
exactly.
RHEL as an added operating system, which we know there's community interest for from the list.
And substantial number of bug fixes.
All right.
And just to mention again what I said in one mail, I think in the mail I sent to you on Monday, there's something like 50 or 60 of the pull requests that we actually ship into the cloud too. So that's really code that we have tested, validated, and that is working for us. And again, I'm saying 50 or 60. That's really more than half of the pull requests.
I understand.
We understand. We have been hit pretty hard by seeming innocuous changes that have repercussive effects, and so there are people on the team who, for good reason, are a little gun shy from being too optimistic about changes that look like will have no impact but end up having impact. So I completely understand you guys have vetted this in your environments and tested it, and that gives us a huge vote of confidence, lets us move a lot faster. Things that have worked fine for you have broken stuff for us at times, and vice versa, totally vice versa. So.
Absolutely. Okay. So basically, let's do the following. We will today. Whoever can, will review all of the outstanding pull requests and comment on them, so we can have a pool of the ones which are ready to be merged, smoked for the merge. And then in parallel, whoever has ability to do the builds and do the smoke, I think will do it. And as soon as we have the environment so we can cut the branch, we will shoot an email and targeted that we will create a Roxy branch on Friday. And once we have the ability to cut the Roxy, we can have a quick discussion on the reflector, to cut the branch. We don't have to call it Roxy, as properly pointed out, for where people can do the Havana work right now. And then we'll have to do the same amount of work to merge that into the Roxy.
Are you suggesting we do that or we don't do that?
Well, I suggest as soon as we have ability to cut any branch, which we're not in a position right now, we will shoot an email on the reflector for that and let people comment, should we wait until Friday to cut the Roxy and we'll have only one branch, or cut the branch as soon as we're able for start the Havana work, and then later on try to merge it into the Roxy when the Roxy is cut. Basically, as soon as the Roxy is cut, we'll have to de facto close that and merge it into the Roxy.
Yeah, I don't see much value in doing that. But if we're gonna cut a branch today, just cut Roxy.
Well, as I said, as soon as we...
I don't feel we're synchronous now, so that we can make decisions. Right? Parties are represented. If we feel like there's a need for a branch, cut Roxy, and we'll deal with the merge issues, which we're going to have to do either way. If we feel like we can delay, then a 2-day delay isn't the end of the world, and it keeps people focused on code reviews for the Pebbles backlog. And then we cut on Friday. That is the absolute deadline.
I'm fine with that.
I don't want to drag in a 2 days of email conversation or a day of email conversation that's going to be inconclusive. I'm happy if we want to get more people weighing into it, but the purpose of these synchronous meetings is to get the ideas out on the table and make decisions at known points. Otherwise, we just do everything on the email reflector, and I know some people would prefer that. I'd love to see conversations staging up for these meetings on the email reflector, because that would help us get everything out.
My recommendation is to delay it until Friday and Friday cut whatever we have at that time, and that will keep people focused until Friday. And again, I apologize on behalf of the whole Dell team that we got really hit for 2 days delay at least.
All right, I'm going to try and document the. Do we need to talk about any specific pulls?
No, I think Vincent did a very good job of documenting which is the highest priority for them, and they voted on them to be ready to be merged. And I would also explicitly state that all of the outstanding pull requests must be reviewed today. Reviewed and voted today.
Okay. Does that give, if there's a down vote, does that give somebody, so that they have 24 hours to turn it around for an additional review?
Yeah. Remember, this is just to prep up all of the things which are ready to be smoked and merged. Whatever doesn't have the positive votes, obviously it's not a candidate for a merge yet. Clearly, we're not going to merge anything which doesn't have 2 plus 1, the 2 votes.
I understand. I think it's an important thing to get these reviews done, but that means we really have to get them done.
Yeah. All right.
I have no other topics. Do we want to discuss items for the next? So in the next planning call, we'll talk through. All right. So let's start building an agenda for the next meeting.
Okay, I'll drop now so I can go chase down so I can have a environment in which I can do the development
hang out
work.
for 5 minutes so we can talk about agenda for the next meeting.
Sure.
Once I actually can type on the Etherpad. If somebody else can do it, that'd be fine. So for the next meeting, we actually need to coordinate the Havana work. Right? Vincent was pretty clear. We've got a whole bunch of people. I know I believe Cloudbase has Havana work they want to do. I know the Dell team does. We're going to need to coordinate what we're doing with that. Are people okay with that being a topic? And we can break it down by bar clamp for the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good with that too, Rob.
All right.
Okay.
I would also. Maybe I can type again. Somebody edit the Etherpad because it looks like I'm locked out of it. Out of editing it. And then I think we can do an update on the Crowbar 2 status, because I think we'll have a readout to report on that and where that stands. And then I would suggest that this call a week from now, or in 2 weeks, that we use that to actually do some Crowbar 2 design review, talk about the latest design.
Rob, where were you editing the Etherpad? I have access to it.
Okay, it's sprint-2013-09-19. I sent it out.
Yes, I'm in there.
Okay. And I was just...
Where in the page were you?
You could start anew at the top, just put agenda for next planning meeting. Because I'm trying to help Simon drive agendas and make sure that we know what we're going to talk about at these meetings so that everybody realizes what the content is and can come prepared. No, I can't. For some reason, this ether does not. Yay, that works. Thank you.
For the agenda, I would recommend for the next one, which I expect we'll have both Roxy and Pebbles simultaneously. So I think we need to have a separate kind of a discussion where we stand on the Pebbles, where we stand on the Roxy, and what is the pipeline of the pull requests for each one separately. I don't know if we can merge it, the discussion under one.
Sorry, John. Let's see.
Does that cover the Havana issues?
Yeah, there's one for Roxy and one for Pebbles, so the Roxy is covering the Havana issues.
I might not be available for the 9th. We might need to reschedule that if you guys want me to do the design review.
I may be able to run that, Rob.
Okay. I think we also should talk about objectives. It'd be nice to actually document some objectives for the Havana Barclays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at some point we need to tee up a discussion of when to start migrating over to Crowbar 2.1. What I would suggest is that we do that in, we actually plan out next sprint meeting. So this would be the 17th.
Rob, shouldn't we wait until we have the CBTO in the state where we have ability to run the workload? Any workload?
I think that it's worthwhile in a 3-week time frame to put on the agenda that we're going to talk about a migration plan and what it would look like and what the triggers would be for it. I agree with you, Arkady, that running a workload would be an element of that trigger.
Sure.
But it's worth discussing so that we don't get into a situation where a trigger occurs and we make changes to what's going on and nobody's thought about it, because that will create havoc.
Okay.
So,
I seem to be blocked in there at the moment.
Yeah, syncing comes and goes. It's not my favorite Etherpad. I keep hoping that we'll host our own Etherpad off of the open build server once we get the server set up.
Mm-hmm.
The public Crowbar server.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for indulging me in the agenda setting process for the next meetings. I hope that doing this, and these are Etherpads, so people can come in and add agenda items that they want discussed. Hopefully that'll help keep driving our meetings to be more productive.
Cool.
All right, okay.
Great.
Everybody. Anyone
Thank
have any
you.
last comments before we close?
Nope.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Thank you.